Okay, today we are going to be talking about the treble clef today. So first off, I'm going to need you guys to grab your notebook, have your line notebook out, and then grab a few highlighters, a few colors, and then a pencil if you would like. Are we all good? And then do we have our colored piece of paper we got assigned as well? Perfect. We're going to use that at the very end for the special assignment. Okay, so first off, raise your hand if you've ever seen this before. Okay, perfect. Can anyone tell me what this is called? Do we know what this is called? The treble clef. Correct. So both of these clefs here are called the grand staff. So down here is the bass clef because we're singing lower notes, so they're called the bass notes. And up here, this is the treble clef because we are singing the higher notes up here. So today, we are going to be looking only at the treble clef. So the treble clef has that symbol over there. It's like a bunch of cinnamon swirls in a loop, okay? So with the staff, we have 5 lines and we have 4 spaces. And then inside these lines and spaces, there can be notes, okay? So even with the treble and the bass clef, you're still going to have those 5 lines and 4 spaces. So when we do both of those lessons, you're still going to have to write out your 5 lines. Okay, so on your, so for your paper, we're going to talk about how each line of the staff and space will mean different things. So each line and space, if we look over here, is going to have a different note. And these are going to have different values for notes, okay? So we're going to look at the musical alphabet. Now, can anyone tell me what the musical alphabet is? Or do we know what letters are in the musical alphabet? Naya.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Perfect. So
H?
we don't use H. We stop at H and then, or at G, and then we go back to A. So we keep going up and then we go back down, okay? So each note is going to be assigned a note name and a certain pitch when we sing, which won't be today, but then we're also going to use letters from the musical alphabet, okay? So cut out H and the rest of those letters from your brains for like 20 minutes. Okay, so we're going to start, so grab your notebook paper out and then your pen or your pencil, and you're going to start by drawing 5 lines and 4 spaces. And I'm going to do it with you so that we can follow along in case there's any confusion. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just like that, okay? I'm going to look around and make sure we each did that right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, perfect. Okay, are we ready to start? Any questions? All right, let's go. So you are going to draw a circle on each line and each space in the line. So you can use fun colors, you can use your highlighters, whatever you want to do. So for the lines, I'm going to use the color purple, and then for the spaces, I'm going to use the color red. But we're going to start by doing that, okay? Okay, and then it should look like this when you're done. Another example that I did earlier was this one up here. I did green and pink. How are we doing? Did we get that? Do 1 in each line and 1 on each space. So make sure we're not doing 2, okay? Good job. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So you just made a full staff in your treble clef. Good job. So now we're going to talk about the line. G, B, D, and F. So any note that's going to be on those lines are going to equal those things. So with your marker or your pen, you're going to put next to the line E, G, B, D, and F right next to those lines. Okay? Perfect. So there are a few fun ways to remember your E, G, B, D, and F for your treble clef lines, okay? So my favorite way is every good boy deserves fudge, because when you're going up, it's E, G, B, D, F. One of my co-teachers, her favorite way is every good boy does fine, or another one is elephants got big, dirty feet. So when you're thinking of these, just remember to have that phrase in your head, so then you'll remember the different different lines, okay? So on the sheet that you have with your notes, I'm gonna have you label your treble notes on the line. So I'm gonna go back. So can you label the notes, like right here? Can you label those notes particularly? E, G, B, D, and F. Come around to make sure we all are doing that okay. Good, so then just write it in those, there you go, perfect.
Why are they in order? Why
So
don't they look like that?
So they're not in order because we still have our space lines here, so we gotta make up for the rest of the alphabet in those space lines. So when we put our space all together, it'll all make sense with our alphabet. Alrighty, are we good with that? Do we all have our lines? Okay, perfect. So double check your work. Does yours look like this? I don't have the space lines in this one, but these are our line notes. Does that look okay with everybody's? Okay, are we good to move on? All right, now we're going to talk about the spaces. Now the spaces make a fun name. They spell out the word face. So when you're doing your spaces, when you label it like I did, you're going to see that in each space it equals the word face. A fun way I like to remember this if I'm looking for my space words are face in the space, or my friend does for all creatures everywhere. So when you're going up from the bottom, make sure your space are going to spell out word face, okay? So I'm going to have you do the same thing that you did with your lines. Can you put where face lines up in your treble clef stuff? I'm going to look. Good. Good, can you write in your spaces for me? Perfect. Perfect. All right, perfect. And then do we see, Reagan, coming back to your question, how this equals the alphabet again, because we start E, F, G, and then start back at A, because we don't keep going. That makes sense. Alphabet. Okay, are we all good? Check your work, make sure it looks like this. I don't have the triple, but. Okay, for our last activity, we are going to take out our colored piece of paper, the special one, because you're going to be making this on your own, but you get to choose your own fun colors and your own fun lines and spaces, okay? So, make your grand staff again, do your 5 lines and your 4 spaces, and then you can look at your notes earlier if you need them, but I'm going to have you guys draw your grand staff, which starts at E, and then you're going to keep going up, okay? Does that make sense to everybody what you guys are doing? And then you're going to label each note head. And I'm going to do that with you guys so that you guys can change work as we go. And then if you need to phone a friend, you can go ahead and do that as well. We're gonna let Reagan finish up. Okay. All right. Are we ready to check our work? Okay. Check your work. Does yours look like mine? Any questions? Okay. Well, today you guys learned the treble clef, so we're gonna look back at our beginning and just look at that. So we started at E today because we're not gonna do ledger lines quite yet. That's another lesson for another day. But look at how you guys can identify all of this from E to F. So you know all of those notes. So anytime you're reading treble clef and there's going to be, let's say, there's a note here. We know what that note is going to be off of our lines and spaces. So what note would this be if there was a note here? E. Perfect. And then if we had one right here, what would this note be? Alaina. D. Perfect. Okay. So with the last couple of minutes, I'm going to have you guys decorate your grand staffs. You can put the treble clef sign on it. And then with that, we're going to call our lesson a day.